For nearly a century, the US dollar has been the sun around which global trade and finance revolve. Its influence stretches from Shanghai's markets to Zurich's boardrooms. International contracts are priced in dollars, and central banks hold vast reserves of it. This dominance has given Washington immense economic leverage and global power. The dollar's reign solidified after World War II, with the Bretton Woods Agreement pegging currencies to the dollar, itself once tied to gold. Even after the gold standard ended in 1971, the dollar's supremacy persisted, especially with the rise of the petrodollar system. Nations needed dollars to buy oil, creating constant global demand and cementing its central role in commerce. But now, a challenge is emerging. The BRICS bloc, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and new members like Saudi Arabia and Iran, are questioning this arrangement. Representing a huge share of the world's population and economic output, they're increasingly vocal about reducing reliance on the dollar. They argue the current system gives the US too much power and exposes their economies to American policy. If BRICS succeeds in creating a viable alternative, it could trigger a seismic shift in global finance and geopolitics. This isn't just about currency, it's a challenge to the global power structure. A new currency war may be on the horizon, with the outcome set to redefine international relations and economic influence. The whispers of change are growing louder, signaling a potential end to an era of undisputed American financial hegemony. The world stands at the threshold of a new financial era. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, began as an investment term, but has evolved into a powerful geopolitical coalition. With new members like Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE, BRICS now represents over 45% of the world's population and a rapidly growing share of global GDP. Their combined resources and economic growth are shifting global economic gravity from west to east. Each member brings unique strengths: China's manufacturing, India's tech sector, Russia's energy, Brazil's agriculture, and South Africa's minerals. The new Middle Eastern members add vast energy resources and financial capital. BRICS isn't just about economics, it's a political project to reshape global governance and reduce Western dominance. Their push for de-dollarization is central to creating a more equitable, multipolar financial system. BRICS' drive to move away from the dollar is rooted in real concerns. US financial sanctions can cut countries off from the global system, as most transactions involve US banks or dollars. Russia's experience after its invasion of Ukraine showed how dollar dependence can translate into economic pain and loss of sovereignty. For China, Iran, and others, relying on the dollar means vulnerability to US political pressure. Dollar-based trade also creates inefficiencies and exposes economies to US monetary policy swings. When the Federal Reserve raises rates, the dollar strengthens, making imports more expensive and triggering inflation in emerging markets. BRICS argues that a diversified currency system would reduce these risks and promote fairer trade. For example, India and Saudi Arabia, both BRICS members, still often settle oil trades in dollars, adding costs and US oversight. BRICS envisions direct trade in their own currencies or a common alternative, streamlining transactions and insulating trade from third-party influence. This pursuit of economic autonomy and stability is a powerful motivator. The goal: a more predictable, resilient international trading environment. The dollar's dominance is no longer seen as neutral, it's a source of vulnerability. BRICS wants to rewrite the rules of global finance to better serve their interests. The push for de-dollarization is about sovereignty, efficiency, and control. The stakes are high, and the momentum is building. BRICS is exploring a new common currency or payment system to rival the dollar. One idea, a reserve currency backed by a basket of commodities like gold and oil, ensuring stability and appeal. The new development bank is already increasing lending in local currencies, reducing dollar reliance. Bilateral trade in national currencies is growing. India and the UAE, China's yuan, and Russia's ruble are increasingly used. These steps chip away at dollar dominance, creating new trade corridors and financial channels. While a unified BRICS currency is distant, the shift toward a multipolar currency landscape is underway. If the dollar loses its reserve status, the impact on the US would be profound. America's exorbitant privilege allows it to borrow cheaply. Reduced demand for dollars would mean higher interest rates and more expensive debt. A weaker dollar could diminish US geopolitical influence, especially its ability to impose effective sanctions. The US economy might face inflation as imports become pricier, forcing tough adjustments in spending and policy. Globally, a shift to multiple reserve currencies could reduce systemic risk and give emerging economies more flexibility. But the transition could be volatile, with currency markets in flux and new norms slow to emerge. International institutions would face pressure to reform, reflecting the new multipolar reality. Alliances could shift, and the rules of global finance would be up for renegotiation. This isn't just about economics, it's about power. The end of dollar dominance would symbolize a broader shift away from US leadership. The world could become more balanced, but also more unpredictable. The stakes are global, and the outcome will shape the 21st century. The dollar's fate is tied to America's role in the world. The coming years will test the resilience of the current order. The world is watching. The US and its allies aren't standing still. They're strengthening the American economy, maintaining technological leadership, and ensuring deep liquid financial markets to keep the dollar attractive. Financial diplomacy and pressure on allies to stick with the dollar are key strategies. The US is also exploring a digital dollar to stay competitive as digital finance evolves. The West will emphasize transparency and stability, contrasting these with uncertainties around any new BRICS currency. BRICS' diversity is both strength and weakness. Vastly different economies and political systems make consensus on a common currency difficult. Rivalries, like those between China and India, complicate cooperation. Technical hurdles, from capital controls to inflation, add to the challenge. Overcoming internal divisions is crucial if BRICS is to truly rival the dollar. The currency contest is also a tech race. Digital currencies, blockchain, and new payment systems could let BRICS bypass traditional banking networks and US oversight. A digital BRICS currency could offer faster, cheaper, and more secure cross-border payments. But cybersecurity, interoperability, and governance are major hurdles. Member states have different approaches. China's digital yuan is advanced, while others are more cautious. The US is developing its own digital dollar to maintain its edge. The future of global currency may be decided as much in tech labs as in boardrooms. The dollar's reign faces its greatest test as BRICS pushes for a multipolar currency world. The consequences could reshape not just finance, but global power itself. For the US, it may mean the end of an era of privilege and influence. For others, it's a chance for greater sovereignty and balance. The transition will be gradual, complex, and fraught with uncertainty. BRICS must overcome internal divisions and the entrenched power of the dollar. The West will fight to defend its position. The outcome will define the economic and political contours of the 21st century.